The thing is still swirling, going live, I'm live. Hi there. Let me turn this alarm off and let me get my notes up. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for October 25th. October 25th is the 298th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 299th in leap years, with 67 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is hypoplasia. Hypoplasia is a noun that means underdevelopment or incomplete development of a tissue or organ. This word comes to us from ancient Greek roots, hypo, which means under, and places, which means formation. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes below. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with others. You can do that with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. And I would like to know your thoughts in the comment section. Let's see what else. Oh, yes. There's also a link to my This Day in History playlist in the show notes right now. And after the video renders, after the live, I'll get it up in the corner up there in the, what do they call it? iCards. Yep. And with that, we're going to start with Crispin and Crispinian, a pair of 3rd century brothers. They might have been twins, but we don't know that for sure. What we do know is that they were cobblers, and they were successful at it. They were makers of footwear, and they were also followers of the Christian faith. They made shoes and preached Christianity and were successful. They were successful enough as cobblers to be able to support themselves and aid the poor. Now, this was in a time when Christianity was taboo, forbidden. So they certainly did attract the attention of the local deputy, who had them tortured and thrown into the river with rocks tied around their necks. I believe the proper term was millstone. And by golly, they survived that, bless their hearts. But it didn't do them too much good because the Roman Emperor Diocletian had them beheaded on October 25th, either 285 or 286 AD. Now, I'm not sure how history is so certain of the date, but not the year, but there you go. So now, why do we care about Crispin and Crispinian? Well, as I mentioned, they were cobblers. Their execution for being Christians made them eligible for sainthood. And so it is that these two, Crispin and Crispinian, are the patron saints of cobblers, curriers, glove makers, lace workers, leather workers, saddle makers, saddlers, shoemakers, tanners, and weavers. In iconography, they are depicted holding shoes and are venerated in the Roman Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox churches, and the Church of England. On October 25th, 1616, Dutch sea captain Dirk Hartog made the second recorded landfall by a European on Australian soil at the latter named Dirk Hartog Island off the West Australian coast. October 25th, 1760, King George III became King of England upon the death of his grandfather, George II. The Toronto Stock Exchange was created on October 25th, 1861. This is the birthday of Spanish painter and sculptor Pablo Picasso, born October 25th, 1881. He was notable for cubism and collage. I didn't know about the collage. Picasso's dad was an artist. He was a naturalistic painter. And when Pablo was a teenager, his dad and his uncle sent him off to art school. But he's Pablo Picasso. It didn't take him long at all to stop going to class. He and his work have been much analyzed, but I'm just here to tell you what happened on this day in history, so we don't need to go in all that art analysis right now, other than to say he was quite a pill and uh, could be a difficult person. Pablo Picasso lived to the age of 91. This is the birthday of Sarah Ophelia Colley Cannon, whom we all know as the entertainer Minnie Pearl. She was born October 25th, 1912. Her first stage performance as Minnie Pearl was in Aiken, South Carolina. I know some people in Aiken. That was in 1939. By and by, as she continued performing as Minnie Pearl, someone saw her and invited her to perform on the Grand Ole Opry, where she continued to work for over half a century. Not only just there, but was a repeat performer there. A regular is what I mean to say, at the Grand Ole Opry. A fellow breast cancer survivor, she became spokeswoman for the Nashville, a spokeswoman for the Nashville Medical Center where she was treated, a role she took on as herself, Sarah Ophelia Cannon, rather than as Minnie Pearl. She lived to the age of 83, and her hat has a home at the National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. This is the birthday of actor Billy Barty, born October 25th, 1924. He stood 3'9" or 1.14 meters tall. He had a cartilage hair hypoplasia dwarfism and specialized in outspoken or wisecracking characters. He acted on television and in movies and was a noted activist for the promotion of rights for others with dwarfism and founded the Little People of America organization to help people with dwarfism. He did that in 1957. Now, as of 2010, I found that that organization had a membership of almost 7,000 people. I was unable to get a current membership number, but if you know how many members the Little People of America organization has in 2020, I'd be interested to know. You can put that down in the show, not in the show notes, in the comment section. Yeah, let us know in the comment section if you know how many members they have now. Billy Barty lived to the age of 78. This is the birthday of actress MariRoss, born October 25th, 1928. Perhaps best known as the mother, Marion Cunningham, on the 1970s and 80s TV show Happy Days. She's acted in a number of movies and TV shows, as well as doing some voiceover work. She lived to the age of 91. Benjamin O. Davis Sr., was named the first African-American general in the United States Army on October 25th, 1940. A group known as the Edelweiss Pirates were a loosely organized youth culture in World War II Nazi Germany that assisted Army deserters and others to hide from the Third Reich, and on October 25th, 1944, Heinrich Himmler ordered a crackdown on them. 50 years of Japanese administration of Taiwan formally ended on October 25th, 1945, when the Republic of China resumed control. The Cuban Missile Crisis continues. On October 25th, 1962, we've mentioned that not too long ago, Adlai Stevenson was ambassador to the United Nations at the time, and he gave a presentation at an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council. He demanded of the Soviet representative to the UN to say whether or not the Soviet Union was installing nuclear missiles in Cuba. When the representative appeared reluctant to reply, probably caught him off guard, I guess, Stevenson produced photographs taken by the U-2 spy plane, which proved the existence of nuclear missiles in Cuba and showed them to that emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council. And I think that's going to do it for us today. I hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes down there, along with the link to the This Day in History playlist, which I'll also link up in the corner there as soon as the video completes rendering. Let's see what else. You know, when I was recording these and editing them, I could put in outro music, and that doesn't really, I haven't figured out how to do that since we're live now. And I had some contact from Jesse Gallagher, the musician that does that beautiful music. His birthday was yesterday, the 24th, and which prompted me then to click over to his YouTube channel. It's a lot of really nice, I'd call it meditation music, nice Zen type music. So if you're interested in that kind of music, click on over there, give him a listen, maybe subscribe to him, and there you go. If I can ever figure out how to add music